Yay, we did it. Hi, everybody. We're here. Okay, we've got a few folks in the room. I am Selena Shands, CEO and founder of Full Capacity Marketing, and this is
Hello, my name is Emma Kestner. I'm the Director of Marketing at Full Capacity Marketing and very excited for this presentation today.
Yeah, we've been here for an hour getting the technology set up. So we're excited to have you in the room and folks online as well. And online, your online facilitator is Crystal Quinero, who is a rock star, and she'll be taking your questions in the Hoover app. So make sure if you're asking questions or you have comments or anything like that, it's the Hoover chat. You guys in the room are a whole different animal. You can ask any kind of questions you want. But it's fantastic to see you all to talk about the Move Ahead with Adult Ed campaign. Good to see you. Hi, come on in. Now, what's so interesting, we had a poll and we asked how many of you but prior to this, had heard of Move Ahead with Adult Ed? A whopping 69% had not heard of it. Are you guys the same? Had not heard of it. Wow. Okay, so I'm so excited that you're here. And then of the small percentage that did hear, like a quarter, 13%, they were, the only 13% that knew. And then we had 63% said, wow, there's a free toolkit. We didn't know about that. Is that what got y'all in the room to find out about the free toolkit? Okay, cool. Yeah, there is an update, and we're really excited about it. So the campaign has been going on for, oh my gosh, about four years now. We just finished our 48th month of this. So we're gonna walk you through how this whole thing got started. We're gonna talk about the toolkit and how you can apply it in your local area. And then we're gonna see some case studies of people who have run with it even further and have done lead generation campaigns that have really, there were about 16 programs across the nation that have done lead generation campaigns with us with over 7,000 leads, 7,100 leads. So they really have improved their enrollment. So I'm curious to know, and Crystal, I'll talk back into the microphone so people can hear, but of those in the room, what prompted you to really come in here and learn more about the campaign? Anybody? Yeah. Oh, it was full. Okay, you know what? Honesty is the best policy here. It's like, okay, hopefully these people know what they're talking about. Yvette, yes. Hmm. Okay, so Yvette, and what is your area? Temple. Okay, Texas area. So she said, based on our prompt, she had a lot of similar characteristics and demographics and large uneducated population. So how do you reach them, right? Okay, great. Anybody else? Hi. What do you hope to get out of the class? Don't tell me like she was saying the other one was full, so I wandered in here. Okay, okay. Okay, I hope you're in the right room. This is about the Move Ahead with Adult Ed campaign. So I think what you probably want is Shawnee B, which is around the corner. Okay, I didn't want you to have a glazed look on your face. Like, what is she talking about? Yes, yes, thank you. Okay, okay. Oh, fantastic. Okay, so another participant said that a large population of ABE students, they're doing fine with ESL, which is great, by the way, because with a lot of the new changes politically, a lot of ESL students around the country, what I've heard is they're not coming in. So that's been a problem. So it's good that you have that and you're from a district, so you want to learn more about marketing. Okay, fantastic. You're in the right place. So let's go on to how this actually got started to begin with. We've had problems with our slide changer. How about if we just go to that one? Is that how I'm going to have to do it?
There we go.
What did you do, Emma?
I just clicked resume and then clicked it.
Okay. Okay, it's getting stuck here. So Sharon Bonney from COABE, gosh, it's hard for me to see the slides. Okay, Sharon Bonney from COABE had mentioned that in 2020, we were seeing a lot of declines in enrollment. So that's when the campaign started because everybody was scrambling to move online. It's like, how can we get students in? So it was a really big challenge to do that. The campaign itself has a website, and what you're seeing on the screen is the website to the right. I'm going to show different parts of the website, but the whole purpose behind this was to get students, potential students, to understand the depth and value of adult education. A lot of people do think of it's just ABE or it's just ESL, but it really is a broad range of what you do. So we wanted to help them in that. In the 4 years the campaign's been going, we've seen 9.74 million potential adult learners coming in through this campaign, which is astounding. And the website itself gets about almost 400 clicks per day. So that's really, really important. And then it's won a couple of national awards as well, which is really fun. Where this comes in for you all, make sure I can do that. Emma, I think you're just going to have to stand up here and help me. So I don't want to do this on every slide. Oh, there we go, locator map. Okay, so the locator map is on the website. This is the locator map here on the right-hand side. When a student comes to the website, they say, I'm interested in this, whether it's ESL, whether it's career technical education, it doesn't matter. They put that in, they put the zip code in, and hopefully your school comes up. If it doesn't, then what you need to do, we'll give you a link. Crystal can pop it in the chat. Oh, thank you, Emma.
Give me 1 second. I'm just helping with the hybrid, but you can continue.
Okay, all right, sounds good. So, up comes your school, hopefully. How many of you know if you're on the locator map? Probably not. If you don't, just, okay. So there's a link that is on the screen that is also in the deck that you can just click on. So this deck is in Hoover. Just click on that link and you fill out a form. Now, there's about 2,600 schools that are on there. So you want to, basically show that you are part of the campaign. That's kind of the first step, if you will. Okay. There's a link at the bottom of that slide, and it's probably too long for you to copy right now, but if you go to Hoover, the Hoover app, and click on our slide presentation, you can just click right there from it, okay? And then you'll fill out your school information. Now, COABE used to do this at no charge, but the technology cost for this campaign is really, it's up there because we pay attention to who's coming on the site, we send out referrals, etc. So it's $25 a year to be included on the locator map. Okay, yeah, that was new as of last year. Okay, so who the campaign targets is a whole list of folks here that you'll see on the screen, but it's basically all of our adult learners. And how we get folks to the website is through a Google Ad grant. So COABE applied for this grant. If you haven't heard of it, it's worth applying for yourself because you get $10,000 worth of Google digital advertising every single month. Now, the trick is you have to keep a click-through rate of 3% or the ads, your contract goes away. So that's why we're on as COABE's marketing partner, helping them to push, and get well above that. I'm going to show you some data points in just a few minutes that may have your area in it, like where are the hot spots, right? And that, so that your toolkit, your free toolkit you're going to get, you want to grab that and put it out there. But these are all the folks that we target. They're high school, diploma, GED, so individuals in communities with low educational attainment. Non-native English speakers or those with limited English proficiency. CTE and career advancement are also in there. So adults in regions will target that have high unemployment or low quality job opportunities, as well as skill for better career prospects. And then community and workforce development is in there. Learners involved in local or community-based education and workforce initiatives. Okay, one more. Okay, here's some of our best performing ads. And you can see, how Google, you'll search for a shampoo, right? Or for silky hair, I don't know, whatever you want to, a new car, something like that, and you're trying to search. And then there's those paid ads that you see populate on Google. That's what this is about. We have to compete with those paid ads, but you'll see some of the best performing ones here. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is that, I don't know if you know this, but a fun fact is you see anywhere between 5,000 and 10,000 messages every single day when you think about Google, pop-up ads, internet, etc. So the messaging is really important. What is it you're trying to say to students? So like with your ABE students, and you were asking about this earlier, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. What was your name? What was your name again? Kim, you were saying earlier that the ABE students are hard to attract in. So a lot of times what we see when we do communications audits is that we may share everything we do with adult education instead of segmenting a message and saying, this is specifically for ABE. So I wanted to give you a smattering of high performing ads here, because if I were you, I would take that and use it in my flyers and my outreach. Emma here has created a whole social media post that we're going to get to in just a second.
And also for anyone looking for the link to get to the locator map, it's in the Whova chat, so you should be able to see that now.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so let's move forward. There we go. So you may be sitting there having questions like, well, are potential learners in my specific area seeing the campaign? I say, keep reading. Yes, they are. Are potential adult learners in my area clicking through to the campaign website? Can I get the specific interest level of adult learners in my city and area? And yes, you can. And what does it mean if I have a high interest in my area? Well, it means you're primed to either work with us to do a local lead generation campaign and use the free toolkit. So a lot of ways to participate. Okay, so here's some numbers that reflect the percentage of users who saw the national campaign and click through to the landing page. So remember when I told you 3% is the norm. You look at the engagement level of adult learners in these cities, anywhere from 10 to 18%. So do y'all see any of your cities represented here? They're large cities, Detroit, Long Beach, Milwaukee. These are the larger cities here. Okay, but you can see it's pretty crazy that much attention and engagement is there. Next slide. This is mid-sized cities. The Carlsbad, that's my hometown, 20%. Murrieta, a lot in California. We've got, where's Bexar County, Texas? Where's Bexar? Okay, San Antonio's high, 13.56%. And the rest are kind of California mid-cities. Okay, and then these numbers reflect some of the users who are smaller and rural. A lot of Illinois, Georgia, Florida, and where's Katy? K-A-T-Y, Texas. Okay. So you can see the engagement, 28%, 50%. So it's pretty high when we look at that. And we also started going into doing some statewide campaigns. We tested that out and said, okay, let's check it out in California. Let's check it out in Illinois, Florida, New York. Those are the ones that we started with. And again, you know, you can see very high. Anything over 3% is extremely high. So this excited us because we're like, people really are craving for what you do. They just don't know about it. So how do you get them to know about who you are, what you do, and the value of it? And that's where we get into, that's good there. Let's see. Oh, we'll do that one. The updated toolkit. So Crystal's going to put in, for you folks online, the link for that, for the Adult Ed Toolkit and resources. But this is what you're going to get. I'm going to go through right now, what are the items in the toolkit and recommendations for you to use them locally, tailor them with your local brand, and piggyback on this campaign. The beauty of this campaign, it is our national campaign. It is representative, represents all of us. So it's built up a lot of momentum in the last 4 years. So there's different items you'll see in there. The first is a news release template, and that's for you to tailor and share with your local media that you are a proud partner of this campaign. There's a fact sheet that can be branded with your logo as a proud campaign partner, and it can be customized. So in Kim's instance, I would customize it specifically for ABE. And just have that. It's like, that's the one. It's interesting when people say, well, you know, when I go out and try to advertise, you don't need to advertise every single class. If you're trying to build brand awareness, for sure, put ads out there that, you know, talk about your school and your benefits of going to your school. But if you're really trying to target a specific course or population, just do that, because you have limited money, so you might as well be able to, you know, target the low enrollments. We also have in there a professional e-newsletter template, and that way you can keep in contact, regular contact with your adult learners by launching a Move Ahead with Adult Ed newsletter. Now here's a question for you. How many touch points do you think on average it takes to get a student to enroll? And when I say touch point, it could be, oh, they saw your website, they went by your school, they talked to a counselor, they talked to a teacher. How many for adult learners do you think it takes? 10, it's a really good answer. It's usually between 5 and 12. So 10 is about right. That's a lot of getting the word out. People always say, oh, I got to get the word out. Well, you got to do it in different ways with messages that are going to resonate with them. Otherwise, it's going to go straight over their head. So the toolkit is designed for you to get those touch points through the campaign, ready-made for you, where you just pull it and then you put it in your social media. Emma here developed an amazing social media toolkit that she's going to talk about. So this is all that's in the toolkit at the link. So let's go into a little bit deeper on how you can tailor them. Is that the, okay, let me go back. Press release template, okay. So on this one, one of the first things you want to do in the package is a logo that looks like this on the right-hand side of the screen, which is Move Ahead with Adult Ed. You want to take that logo and put it on your website. And the reason being, you're going to be taking the brand of Move Ahead with Adult Ed out there. And if they go to your school's website and they don't see that you're a proud partner, they're going to say, well, what was this about, right? So you want to take the logo, and then I've just put some web copy here for you, like the name of your organization is a proud partner of the National Move Ahead with Adult Ed campaign, connecting adult learners to life-changing educational opportunities and employers with workforce solutions to stay competitive. That's a mouthful. If you want to edit it, no problem. You know, but just have that moniker somewhere so that if you send people to your website, they say, oh, okay, I'm in the right place because this is one of our partners. Now on the press release, everywhere you see orange is where you're going to change things up. This is in a Word document, so you can download it and then type away. And we try to do the heavy lifting for you, but of course, if you don't want to use our verbiage, not a big deal, just put yours in there. You'll add your logo to this and add the date and a contact person. And then Basically, the title is, whatever your organization is, joins the Move Ahead with Adult Ed campaign to highlight opportunities for adult learners. And then the subtitle is Adult Education Supports Local Adult Learners and Employers with 2025 Workforce Challenges. When this toolkit was developed, it was during COVID. So we had written it for COVID. This is now bringing in more of the current of what employers are facing, what adult learners are facing. So in the first paragraph, it just announces that you are part of this campaign. And then it states what is an adult learner. The second paragraph provides some really good updated research, one from a Forbes survey, another survey where it says 87% of employers say that they think that in 2025 their skill sets are going to be outdated for their employees. So you're kind of hitting both sides with this framework, the employers and the students as well. The third one is, I think, let's see, to be competitive in the market, employers have increasingly put their focus, their tools from traditional credentials to skills. So we go into this whole thing around skills-based because that's what you all do at the end of the day. You're teaching folks to have the right skill set, and that's really hot in the news right now. So we leaned into that angle. And then the fourth paragraph is really just a quote from your executive director about why adult education. Kim's quote may be specifically around ABE. You know, here we're really focused on ABE because of X, Y, and Z. We left room for you to talk about your programs. Some of your other folks may want to pull in on CTE. Maybe that's your thing, or ESL, whatever your low enrollment programs are. That's what you're going to focus on. You can talk about in general. You could even have a success story in here, you know, like Carl, and then talk about Carl or whatever. Make sure you have a media release form on file. But the media loves to hear student success stories or people who are thinking about doing something and how it might change their lives. So we've set the whole thing up for you, and then we say, whatever your byline is, for more about our ABE programs, go to our website and all of that. So that's why when you're going to push them to your website, they're going to see you're a proud partner of the campaign. So any questions on how you would tailor the press release? Pretty simple. You just take it, send it out. If you have a public information officer or a marketing department, you'd interface with that. I'm sure the district has one, you know, different schools. So you'd say, hey, we're going to be part of this campaign. It's very simple. We're going to be using the moniker and really getting behind us. Okay? So that's a press release, super easy. Okay, now the fact sheet. One of the most important things when you're working with folks is the data component. You can see we've got an infographic in here that I pulled out and put to the right. Emma's also taken the graphic and manipulated it for different social media platforms that you can pull and just use with a ready-made post about adult education. So on the left-hand side, the title, and by the way, this is also done in a Word document, so you can change out the photos, you can change out the, you know, anything, basically. But we've leaned into more skills equals more pay, your local adult education resource, all right? And then we've got a standard paragraph on there that, again, you can change, and that says, well, how can I move ahead with adult ed? This is where you would talk about your program that you want to promote. And then you'd have the infographic below, which is really, I mean, some powerful statistics, up to $12,000, depending on your state. This is how much more high school graduates can earn than non-graduates. And we've provided the source there. So all the data points, infographic there for your fact sheet. How would you use a fact sheet? You can use it to send out to your distribution list of students. Current students. You know anyone who would be interested in this class? The other thing you could do is have an opt-in form on your website so that people say, I want information from you. So you could tailor a special e-blast just for students that may fit the ABE. You can ask for referrals. You can leave the flyers around your partners, say, I need some referrals into this program. How else could they use it, Emma? Okay, how many of y'all do newsletters right now? Show of hands. It's hard to keep up, but if You know, the touch points are so important. If you can stay front of mind, key of mind. We've worked in the way we approach our agency, because we're nationwide, we help more than 750 workforce and education organizations build brands. That's what we do. But instead of just going in on a sales process, we educate a lot. We have blogs, we have courses you can take, things of that nature. So that when the time comes and you're like, oh yeah, those full capacity marketing people, I bet they could help me, you know, and so that kind of builds trust. Same with your students. So you want to keep the name out there, not just during enrollment times, but when you can actually, you know, get in front of people all the time. Remember those touch points. So newsletters are a great way to do that. Here we've got instructions on how you can put a newsletter together through MailChimp or something like that, or, you know, some free tools. And it's ready-made and laid out for you. There's a link in your toolkit that shows you what it would look like. But yeah, you can add your logo in here, your contact information, and we've created the first one for you. So it's easy to just kind of pop out there. Some ideas for newsletter: highlight your students, highlight your students. A good success story has 3 components. What's the student's challenge? Why did they seek you out? You know, what were they hoping to change about their lives? What you did for them, right? And then a call to action. Somebody can, you know, contact you or text or that type of thing. So that's how you can develop those components of it. And here's the rest of the newsletter here. There's a section for a class highlight, a student story. I mean, just all kinds of sections there. And by the way, your newsletter should not be so long that, you know, it's people want to glaze over when they see it. Just make it short. Just make it a benefit, fun. This is something you're going to want to get interested in. Now I get to turn it over to Emma, who is social media guru, who's going to talk about, you're going to love this social media toolkit, because it's got active links everywhere and it's ready-made. All you have to do is cut and paste. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you, Selena. So as you said, I helped create the social media post bank. We pulled out the statistics from the infographic that you saw in the fact sheet, and let me make sure I'm just being seen in the webinar. And so when you go to the toolkit, you'll just be able to go to this document, and it has the links to tag COABE, of course, and some hashtags you can use, and then you just choose a graphic and then copy and paste a caption and just download the image and just post it on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn if you have it, anywhere. I'm doing a whole social media presentation tomorrow. Highly recommend you join if you want to learn more about how best to use social media to reach out to students. But this is, yeah, a really great resource and very important touch point to reach out to students. Social media is a really great way to spread awareness about your programs, and really a great way to get the word out in addition to some paid ads. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the toolkit.
It's really great. It's really great. I love how it's just plug and play. That's the thing, because we don't have time, right? That's why we tried to put as much work into this as possible, so you can just fill in the blanks and say, okay, I want to use my logo or do this. And again, you may need to interface with marketing teams, but just let them know, you know, we saw this thing at COABE. They've got over almost 10 million impressions from their ads. We want to do that, and this is how we're planning to execute on the toolkit. Yeah.
In addition to these posts, you could also post the fact sheet on social media. That would be a really great way to, or even your press release, especially on Instagram. They just changed the format, so it's easier to post flyers and stuff like that. So that's another great way to use social media for all this toolkit information.
Really great point. And I'm not sure if there's a post in here, but, oh no, we probably didn't, because we don't know if they have a newsletter. But if you start a newsletter, sign up for a newsletter. That's a great post, you know, sign up, stay in touch with us. Again, the more touch points, the better. And I know it's hard, because you think, gosh, we have texted this student 4 times and this, that, and the other. They just might not be ready then and there. But when we do lead generation campaigns and gather and leads for programs, we say those lists are golden, because they may not be ready now, but maybe the next time around, maybe, you know, things just come up with adult learners. We know that. They sure do. Okay, so now let's see if there's anything else. We talked social media toolkit and nope. Okay, here are some social media posts from people who have used the toolkit. So when you pull down the deck that we have here, you can steal these. They're good ones. Share, repost, all of that. So here they're using Move Ahead with Adult Ed. There's one in Texas here. Emma, what stands out to you about get the skills you need to get back to work? Here's one on the far right about the infographic. I love the folks here in the second column who actually did a Move Ahead with Adult Ed tablecloth. They are using this for their, this is our campaign. And that's what we want people to do. We want you to replicate this.
Yeah, I love that. The one on, it would be the far left on the shared screen and the far right, or no, yeah, left over here too. They tailored the information that we had and then made it their own, and I think that's really interesting. And of course, I love the one on the third column to the right. They have an Instagram carousel post so people can kind of swipe and learn more about the programs. Just another great way to use social media.
Yeah, and they're all the graphics too, which make them great. So in your deck, there's an appendix that we put together and did a whole bunch. These are ones that we particularly thought were good to share in class, but there's a lot of people have used this. Okay, let's see. All right. So there's 3 ways that you can engage in the campaign. One is to just download the toolkit. Let's say you don't have $25 to spend on the locator map. Okay, I understand that, but at least get the toolkit, right? It's free, tailor it, and all of that. If you want to move ahead with us in terms of a local campaign, the first thing I would do is contact us and say, well, how much engagement have we really gotten in our area on Move Ahead with Adult Ed? And like those previous slides, we'll pull them up and see if there is a campaign in your area. If you're planning to do a lead gen campaign, we would focus some of the COABE in that area to help support your campaign. Specific zip code and your specific classes that are low in enrollment that you want to, promote. And I'm going to give you a few case studies here. This first one, well, there's going to be 3 of them. Oakland Adult and Career Education. There's Contra Costa Adult Ed Consortium, which is in California, we have adult ed programs that work together as consortia. Do y'all have that here in Texas? Maybe not. What's Taley, Texas? Learner, something. Yeah. And oh, okay. Okay. All right. And then there's a single community college. So I'm trying to give you like a depth and breadth of like some of the, challenges. Okay. Texas Association for Literacy and Adult Education. Okay. Excellent. Okay. Fantastic. So sometimes, it's good I can't get this one to go. It's a good one to pull your dollars even with your neighboring one, because the consortium in California, their service areas are close by, and we just worked with them and said, okay, who is actually offering this class? Who's actually offering this one? And then we were able to go from there. Okay, next, sorry. Okay, so this is Oakland, Adult Ed and Career Education. African American and Latino student recruitment, very specific on the demographics here, and you were mentioning that earlier, Yvette, that was important for you. This was a single school campaign, and if you notice on the website, let's see if we can go to the next slide. Oh, there we go. So let's talk about a little about their challenges, then I'll talk to you about how the website was set up. So the challenges, they had large declines in HSE and CTE due to the pandemic. African Americans were very much underrepresented compared to the overall population in that area. And there was no sort of proactive outreach to boost enrollments. People sort of had an afterthought like, okay, well, we're not getting a lot of enrollments here. Maybe we should do something, you know, rather than being planning. So some of the solutions was to micro-target African American males for career technical education and HSE. There was a secondary focus on ESL and the Latino community. Ads reflected the diversity of the community, and CTE ads promoted low enrollment classes with job placement. Here is their website. Wow, it looks just like the national one. Why do we do that? Because we are trying to really boost brand awareness about this whole thing we called Move Ahead with Adult Ed, which is a movement. Sharon talked about it today, or I think Shaketa did in the opening comments. It's like it really is a movement we're trying to create, and this is the campaign behind it. You see it is branded, though, right after the adult education logo with Oakland Adult and Career Education. And then everything else is changeable. So the folks that you see on the screen are their population that they wanted to recruit. So it's different there. We've got value propositions for being, you know, in adult ed. Here, if you move down the website, these blocks would be tailored. So in their case, they wanted to learn or improve English. They wanted to finish high school or get ready for college, job training placement, and learning basic computer skills. This is what was important for them in their market. So yours would be tailored accordingly. Okay. Then they had a contact us page, and that's one way you get leads is through the page. And then the last page gets branded with their logo. Okay. You can go again. Here's some of the targeted ads that were used for them. You can see it's branded with Move Ahead with Adult Ed and their logo at the bottom. And then different posts and caption to go there. Okay, here's some of the results. Just in a 6-week campaign, they got 336,000 impressions. That's the number of times the ad was shown, and over 94,000 people were actually reached. Over 4,000 clicked on the ads, and they had 472 leads that came in from the campaign. 62% were male, which is what we were targeting, 38% female. 100% of the leads were from the lowest income and lowest educational tracks. And so one of the powers of using digital advertising is that you can focus down to the neighborhood level. If you want just general brand awareness, which is important, then yes, go out and do things like bus ads and things of that nature. But for lead generation, it definitely helps to target in on the digital campaign side. Contra Costa, we can go through this one pretty quickly. This is the consortium. Some of their challenges, some of their challenges were healthcare programs had low enrollment with high regional workforce need. The consortia did not have a uniform, effective post-pandemic recruitment plan. Large adult ed schools were getting most of the enrollments as compared to some of the smaller schools. And all of the schools had a different CTE program, so the campaigns required multiple geo-targets, if you will. A lot of the younger audiences were underrepresented as well. So in this campaign, we primarily focused on high school, ESL, and CTE. The ads reflected, again, the diversity, and we went after really, you know, just trying to get them more leads. Here's where some of the targeted ads, we use Instagram and Facebook. That's what's, you know, it's interesting because the national campaign uses that Google ad scholarship, right? So we're getting out on Google, different places. When we pinpoint down in your area, we can get in, start using different platforms, and Meta and Instagram are really great for this audience. I don't know if you have found that to be the case, But yeah, it's really fantastic. And here were their results. Really great campaign for over 462,000 impressions, 118,000 people reached, over 5,000 clicks on the ads, and 589 solid leads. This is also just an important aside. If you do decide to do an ad campaign, you're going to need help in following up on those leads. It's not like somebody sees the ad for the first time. Remember those touch points between 8 and 12, right? So if you do have that, then we'd highly recommend that you have either we have a leads lab that does that, but if you want to, we've also built systems at different organizations where one person is taking and following up with text this way, and other is by phone. So you got to have that sequence of how you're going to follow up ready before, because otherwise I say don't do an ad campaign, because then you're wasting your money, your hard-earned money. You want to see results. And by the way, that consortium, they're now in their 6th round with us. And they said this is so much a better use of money than a catalog. And I'm not saying get rid of your catalogs, but I'm just saying this is a consortium of schools that use catalogs that were very expensive. It was a one-time touch point. Here's your catalog. That's it, right? Okay, and then Glendale, they had several, this is a single community college, but they had an Armenian Spanish and English student recruitment, this very unique population. That's why you can take a framework like Move Ahead with Adult Ed, and that'll raise general awareness, but really have to look at the demographics of your region to say what is actually going to work. Okay. How many people does it take to change a slide? Apparently 2 today. That's okay, you can leave it there. Oh, that's fine, that's fine. So challenges here in this group: large declines in ESL and CTE enrollments, unable to re-engage former students to return. People just did not want to come back during that time. College was not focused on adult ed recruitment. We see that a lot. So what we had to do is micro-targeting non-returning and new students via custom audiences, remarketing, and lookalike audiences. That is a mouthful. It's very technical. But in digital ads, one of the things about digital ads, it's so flexible. So you can really get in and do the right targeting, and that's what we did. And here's some of the ads, multicultural ads that we ran. We also ran them in multiple languages. And their results. So smaller campaign, but still almost over 260,000 impressions, 82,000 people reached, 52,000 clicked on the ads, and 272 leads. And you can see the demographic breakdown there. So hopefully that gives you a flavor, again, of what you can do with the campaign. Because I think it's really important that we all have joined this movement and we're engaged in it. So at the very least, you can take the logo, put it on there and say, on your website and say, hey, I'm a proud partner. Download the toolkit. If you have the $25, then get listed on the locator map. And then if you're interested in a state, regional, or local Move Ahead campaign, or just wondering, hey, I'm really wondering how this is in terms of our particular area, just reach out to us and we can let you know about that. So any questions on how you can participate? Again, the appendix has a ton of, here's the appendix, so you'll see. I'm just going to flash through them. Look at all the ways people are using this toolkit. It's so great. Okay, I think that's it. So a couple of other things. I'll stop share here if it'll let me do that.
Oh, no, I'm sharing.
Oh, you're sharing. Oh, okay. Got it, got it. Okay, so any questions so far on anything we've covered? How do you think you might, like of everything you've seen, what do you think you might be able to use? And how would you use it? Anything in the toolkit? The newsletter? Oh, Oh, great. So the comment in the room was for you online is that she just hired a social media marketing manager, and so she's thinking, well, she doesn't know it yet, but the newsletter would be great. I love the newsletter. I mean, I think it just keeps fresh information out in front of your audience at all time. It's really important.
And just to kind of add on to that, yeah, having contacts for your students is really valuable because social media, you can't really guarantee that you're reaching the people that you want to reach, but having a contact list and you're directing people to that contact list, right? So it's something that you can own and have over time and grow, and so it's not something like social media. Your Instagram profile could be deleted today, and what do you do with all your followers? But if you have at least the contacts for people who are interested in your programs, you can at least reach out to them. And it's just a really great, again, touch point, really valuable. And we've seen a lot of success with newsletters. So.
Really great. Any other thoughts on the toolkit items? Yvette, what do you think? What are you thinking? You're in deep in thought. Yeah, yeah, it does take work. And that's the challenge. When people have come up to me at conferences. I've been in this for a very long time. I've had my company for 24 years. Prior to that was a director of a workforce board. And always, thank you, and always thinking through, like, how do we get the word out in the best possible way, in the least expensive way we can do it? Because I know y'all don't have a lot of funding for these huge campaigns and things like that. Those are for things like when you get a special grant, then call us because we can definitely merge funding streams. We're very good at braiding funding streams and that kind of thing. But at a day-to-day basis, if you're not telling your story, someone else is going to tell it for you. So how do we then, and we've even built systems in adult schools where it's like, okay, there's 4 people there and the director, maybe, that small. Each person, that's you? Okay. So what we did in that situation, Yvette's in the same situation for the folks online, you may be as well, but we took each person and said, okay, we're going to build some content, and this is why you need to come see Emma speak at 8 o'clock on Tuesday, because she's going to talk about how to build up systems for social media. It would be good for your staff too to come into that. And so let's just say you got a content calendar. Now, is it as robust as if you hired an agency? Probably not, but you're going to build those pieces of content, and you're going to then retool them in a lot of different ways. You can retool it for a newsletter article. You can retool that post for an e-blast. There's a lot of different things you can do with content. So it's just getting the content. So if you all come together and do one little piece of the puzzle, it doesn't fall on one person to come up with everything, right? And the other thing too is that your teachers are in there with the students. They're the ones that I'd be talking with about success stories, and it's like, who do you know? We need a success story for this month. Who has done this in class? Who's been struggling, but they've been able to come out on the other side? So it really takes a whole village of y'all to tell your story. And I know you get mirrored down in day-to-day operations, but that is why we are the best kept secret, because we don't spend time on this. We teach a class. In fact, you can win a seat in the class if you go by our virtual booth, and there's a little card up front to win a seat, but it's the brand amplifier, and it's a course that takes you through and helps you build that team little bit by little bit and build that marketing team so that it just becomes part of your operational structure. It's very hard to think after the fact, oh wow, we're in trouble now, we don't have enough enrollments in this class and you got a week to go. That's not the time to be thinking about it. Time to think about it is, what's our trend been in the last 6 months or the last year? We've had trouble with this class. Why is that? Well, maybe it's the time it's taught, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, but maybe we're not reaching the right people. So how do we best do that? So hopefully this toolkit will help you in the plug and play elements of it, but I still think you need more people involved in marketing. And I'm just saying that as a marketing professional, when we go in and meet with folks and work one-on-one within the organizations, boy, it's tough because somebody will be building this type of flyer and another type of flyer and everything, and it's not, your brand is very inconsistent. And so people are like, can't connect the dots. Gosh, we have a hard enough time connecting the dots, don't we? It's like, oh, like, you know, under WIOA, we work with WIOA Title I funded organizations as well. It's like, I still learn things after being in this for over 30 years. It's like, oh, wow, we can do that with that funding stream. And, you know, so just think about the poor people we're trying to reach. And we expect them to connect the dots. And we all know adult learners have a little bit more hand-holding to do. They just do, right? They just do. So anything you can do to simplify your communications online at all your touch points, and hopefully the toolkit has given you some things to think about. Absolutely. Campaign with Educate and Elevate, and behind every employer as well. And then there was, yes, yes, good, good. So we're yes. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, we're trying. We're trying to get the word out through these larger scale campaigns because it shouldn't be a best kept secret. Very passionate about it. I mean, my background is I came from poverty-stricken family in North Carolina, and I was in the system. And by the grace of God and people helping me and mentorships and programs like what you do, was able to come out of it. And now I'm an entrepreneur of, you know, big organization, and I love it. So we'll always be in this with you. We're hopefully very accessible. I try to be, if you want to just call me and troubleshoot and say, hey, I don't know what can you go back through the toolkit, or you know, I need your help there. You can go by our virtual exhibit hall and just drop your name off there and we'll get in touch with you. You've been monitoring questions? Are there any questions on?
I know Crystal's going to put the giveaway info in the chat, but you can also visit our Exhibitor Hub booth, and then you should find all the information there.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic. Well, I appreciate you spending part of the afternoon with us. Hopefully you got some good stuff out of here. And our next class is AI and how you can use AI in marketing. So if bandwidth is an issue, where are we at, Ariel?
Ariel Queen, just right over there
Ariel
on the same
Queen.
floor. Just walk down that way. We'll be presenting in like, I believe it's at
3:30. It's at 3:30, and hopefully won't have the technical difficulties. Maybe it'll be a different laptop in there. We can work it all through. Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you for the folks online. Crystal, thank you. Y'all have a great session. Take care. Bye.